Hey everybody, my name is Zach REDRUP. You're listening to the It's Not a Phase podcast, and on this episode I'm joined by LiL Lotus. We talk about his latest album, Nosebleeder, putting together a deluxe edition, his relationship with the term emo rap, moving towards the world of bands over the years, the value in collaborating, his other projects If I Die First and Hospital, and loads more. Now, if you enjoyed this or any other episode of the podcast and you want to show your support, there's a few ways that you can do that. Number one, leave a rating and review wherever you're listening to this. It takes just a few seconds and it really does help. Number two, share this on your social media, whether that be Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, wherever. Or number three, if you want to go the extra mile, you can pay a little bit each month to join the Patreon, and in return you'll get access to episodes early along with some of our perks, or you can pick up some merch from the store. All the links to that and the podcast socials where you can follow us can be found at itsnotaphase.co.uk. That's itsnotaphase.co.uk. And now with all that out of the way, let's jump right into this week's episode of It's Not a Phase. What's up everybody? Thank you for joining me on this episode of It's Not a Phase, where I'm joined by LiL Lotus. How are you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you?
Yep, all good, dude, all good. The time zone difference kind of fucked us up a little bit, but
yeah,
we worked it out.
Fucking time zones.
Yeah. It's always the biggest enemy with when I'm trying to like organize interviews like from people who are not in the UK. It's just trying to work that out.
Oh, dude, it's crazy for me. Because I have like so many friends that are so like on the East Coast, and then it's like I live in California, but then I'm in Dallas like a lot. So it's like I go back and forth between those two time zones, and then the daylight savings time thing happened recently. So like everything just like all
fucked up.
Yeah, it's all weird.
Yeah. I mean, we obviously don't have that issue in the UK because I can go from one side of the country to the other and it's the same time zone. Whereas obviously in the US, like you say, go between states, it changes.
America's got this really cool system where we just mess with the time.
You're on your toes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, your latest album, your second full-length, Nosebleeder, that came out towards the end of last year. How have you been finding that's been sitting with the fans? How have they been taking to it?
Really cool. I feel like this one's more like rock, it's a little bit heavier.
Mm-hmm.
There is like a little bit of like the little catchy melodies and like the little pop punky vibes, but I think I just like naturally write in those little like catchy melodies that happen to, now pop punk's like such a big thing. It's kind of categorized in that, but it's more rock forward and everybody seems to like it. I really like it. That kind of stuff is definitely more where I feel more comfortable performing wise and having fun and the energy. So everybody reacting to it pretty well is works for me.
Yeah, definitely, man. Yeah. And obviously you got the deluxe edition as well. So you've got like obviously the full album.
The deluxe.
A few acoustic versions of the songs, and I think there's a Lil Uzi Vert cover on the end as well.
Yeah. So I had like some acoustic songs that I was like, oh, let's put these on the album. And then I was like, wait, why don't I just do acoustic versions of them? And then like I'll also release the acoustic. Like in the future, I want to release more acoustic stuff because that was a big part of Lotus. Like I would always like early Lotus, I would always do acoustic covers of my songs or acoustic versions of my songs and or just write a bunch of acoustic songs in general. And I guess a lot of the songs that I would usually start off acoustic and then I'd build them into like a full band. So I kind of wanted to just, keep that going and, give everybody an acoustic version of those. And I love Lil Uzi. So that was like a song that I've always like listened to. And I'm like, dang, like when you really listen, like those lyrics are kind of sad. So like we should make it like a sad version, make it acoustic and slow it down and whatever. And, really listen to the lyrics. So hopefully everyone likes that.
Is that kind of how your songs tend to build then? You create them on like acoustic first, and then that's when, once you've kind of fleshed out the song, that's when you obviously put your touch in it with like a full band and all that kind of stuff?
Some songs, there's a lot, like recently I've been doing that a good bit, and that's like more towards like this next album, I guess, that I've already started working on. Mm-hmm. But with Nosebleeder, that was a lot of like just working with like we had like guitar players in the room. We had we had people in the room like playing guitar, and like we would be riffing ideas. And once I found like a loop that once we started making ideas going back and forth and whatever, I was like, oh, I just loop that one part, and I'll just write the majority of the song over that, and we'll like build out later. And so that's kind of like how it went. But some recently I've been doing a lot more of like the way that I used to do it. Like in the past, it was in like early Lotus days. It was like I would be playing acoustic, and I'm like, okay, like I can turn this into a song.
Hmm.
And but yeah, so I'm kind of getting back to that in this newer writing
Yeah.
stuff that I've been doing.
Well, I think I heard in some of your interviews, I think when you were over in the UK for the first time, there was kind of talks of you potentially doing an acoustic album. Is that right? Is that something that you're still working on?
Oh, so I definitely have enough to do an acoustic album.
Right.
Uh, and I definitely would. I would like to. That'd be really, really sick. I want to, but I think like I don't know. I'm also so back and forth with it because like I don't want to just be an acoustic artist and like put out an acoustic album and everyone think like this is what he's doing now. It's just
Yeah.
acoustic. I think I'll have to like dabble it all out there and as we go, and then maybe I'll do like an acoustic tour. Maybe I'll
Yeah.
do like and do all those acoustic songs that are tour real light and real intimate sets and stuff like that. But definitely gonna sprinkle all my acoustic songs into the mix with all these like heavy songs. Not heavy, but like high energy.
Yeah. More kind of like electric guitar focused kind of stuff. Like it's not like
Yeah.
you're putting out like a metalcore song on a Little Lotus album, is it really? But
There's some songs that I would say in the new stuff that I've been working on lately that I kind of feel like there's kind of like a little bit of a metalcore doomy. There's some doomy stuff in there.
right. Interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
We're having fun right now.
so why did you go with the title Nosebleeder? Why does that kind of encapsulate this whole collection of songs on that album?
I feel like I always like kind of write like pretty raw, emotionally like honest, and like kind of it from a lot of times from like a dark place, even though like those songs might sound upbeat and everything. And I guess I've kind of just realized like life in general kind of it's just been like for someone as sensitive and emotional as I am, I feel like it's kind of been like this like stressful, like crazy, overwhelming situation, like whether that's like me from like my stuff internally just by myself, or whether that's from like the world around me or dumb situations I've put myself in my life, and or just people that don't really have best intentions for you, and but just life in general. I feel like it's very universal that there's like this being drained, being completely beat up, whether it's like you're beat up, whether it's you're drained, whether it's you feel like your brain is bleeding, it's too much going on. Yeah, I feel like it all just came down to like it starts with a nosebleed, like something's going on up there, something's pressure.
Yeah.
So I feel like that was just kind of a pretty easy name that came pretty quickly. I was like, let's go with it, and it stuck.
Yeah, I don't know about you, like, but when I was like younger, when I was like in my teen years, I thought, oh, when I grow up and I'm adult, life will be easy. But
No,
it's still
yeah,
difficult, yeah.
yeah, yeah. No, that's not the case at all. Yeah,
No.
you get older, and then life happens, and all those things like when you're younger, that those things you're supposed to be learning so that you can handle life, and you're like, oh, I'm just a kid. I'm gonna have fun. Like, yeah, you're having fun, but then like those things, you're like, dang, I should have learned this because I can use it here.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah, it's kind of like those years are, like in a video game, they're like the tutorial level. And then as soon as you hit like 18, you're in the
yeah,
whole game on full
yeah.
depth. You're like, no.
You're in the thick of it.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, before Nosebleed, obviously your previous album, the debut, Error Boy, that came out in 2021. And during that time there was still kind of lockdowns happening here and there. Do you feel like those unavoidable events in the world kind of had any stifling on that record in terms of not only creating the album, but maybe promoting it to its full potential?
No, because I feel like whenever all that happened, I just acted like wasn't going on. I was like, if people weren't trying to go to the studio, I was finding somebody that did. I was finding somewhere that we could, make music. Like when that happened, I'm pretty sure that's when If I Die first started, and we just like all met up and we just started doing the If I Die first stuff. Then I was like working on, I think I was around Error Boy and stuff, and then even now, like I just been racking up songs, and I feel like I just constantly was working on music somewhere, some way. So if anything, I feel like it made it go by fast. It made it help the evolution of these projects happen faster because I was trying so many other things that I was like getting I was sifting through all the bullshit. Like, what do I want? What don't I want? What do I want? So I was sifting through there, and I kind of got to like that point faster because I knew, sifting through it.
Yeah. Well, I guess there was like less, in a way, there was less distractions, right? Because less was going on in the world, and yes, in a way, you were trying to find stuff to keep you busy as well. And so, all these projects.
There was so much time on our hands. Like, I needed to work on stuff.
Yeah. Do you feel like when you did Error Boy, and obviously you came into the second album, Nosebleeder, what was kind of like the experience you had of making a full-length album? Were you more prepared going in for a second time of like what the album experience is of creating a record?
Yes, yes and no. I feel like the Error Boy album, when we did that with Feldy, it was a pretty quick process because we went in and we were boom, boom, boom. Like, it was like, record this, do this, do this. And we would be knocking out songs like pretty quickly. And I think there was like a few other ones that we didn't do with Feldy, and those are the ones that were more like, lax, and like maybe we like waited for a feature or took some time on. But a lot of the Feldman songs, like they were done pretty quickly. And this one, and then Nosebleeder, that one we had like half and half. Was like, or no, I think like 9 songs were with Mike Pepe, and then the rest were with Matt Malpass. And those were kind of like ping ponging back and forth. Like, is the album done? Are we going to add more songs? Which ones are we going to keep? Like, and that one we took more time with. And I think there was even like a break because of touring in between it. We started and there was like some touring that I did. Right. So we took this long break. And so it was like kind of like that getting back into the groove of like, okay, let's finish what we started before you just had this whole experience of touring. And that was a weird feeling. And, like, do you even like these songs anymore?
Yeah.
Like, type thing. It's like been so long. I'm like, oh my gosh, like I'm wanting to do this now. I'm wanting to do that now. But I loved all the songs still. So they still held up. So I felt like that was good for me because if, me for how picky I am and how like much I switch up, like how I feel about things, like, I like came back and I still like those songs. So I was like, let's run it. These are good to go. But yeah, that one took a little bit longer just because, touring and shit.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's, just shows the testament of the songs. If you were to go away for X amount of months, however long it was, then go back and you still like them, that just shows the quality of the songs, doesn't it?
Yeah, for sure.
And that first album as well saw you kind of stepping further away, more notably at least, away from like the 808s and kind of the more electronic backing music for your vocals and stuff, and going more into like a band direction, a bit more of a pop punk, emo, whatever you want to call it, direction.
Yeah.
And you've done that even more on Nosebleeder, it seems.
Yeah.
How's that process been for you, kind of, as an artist and as a songwriter? How's that been for you?
I like it. It's where I'm more comfortable in general. Like, that's like my whole background is like with bands and stuff. Like, I've played with bands like all growing up, and I've always just loved that energy of like being on stage with a band. I feel like whenever I was doing it with like a DJ, like I like love, whoever like on stage with me and everything. I don't bring people on tour that I don't like absolutely, vibe with. And that would be fun. It would be fun in the moment and everything, but I didn't feel completely, like fulfilled. Like, I'm not getting my point across the right way. I'm not experiencing it as much as I want to. And then with the band, it feels way more like I'm having fun with my friends, and I'm up there like I know we're just having fun. And I don't know, I like layers of things. Like, I like, I like different, like I like playing with like I don't want it to just be one guitar loop and an 808 and like some, little things sprinkled in there. Like, I want like the full band experience, taking it places, different scenes, different like, different sounds like that. But I probably just like band stuff way more. That's probably what it just boils down to, because you can do the same thing with production, but I like band stuff.
Yeah. Well, I guess that also kind of translates on, you kind of touched on there, going live. Like, it's much more fun to go on stage with a bunch of your friends, and the energy of like, each other, you bounce off one another, as opposed to if you were just doing like 808 backing tracks, then it's just you on stage with a DJ or something like that, and it's a completely different vibe.
Yeah, I also I felt like the whole like emo rapper thing was such a big deal that I like I didn't really like it, and I was like, I'm not an emo rapper. Like, yeah, like I put myself in this like weird hole where I was like, damn it, now I'm in this like category of like emo rap, but like I'm by no means a rapper.
Yeah.
And it's like that energy carries on to like the stage, and it's like the DJ and the 808s, and you're like, put your hands up in the
Yeah.
air. Like I'm like, that's not me. Like, come on. I think it definitely like forced me to have to be in that kind of world, and I was like, I don't want to do that. I want to be, like playing on stage with like a band, and
I
like
think some of your songs are a bit too sad to be doing like a get up, get high.
yeah. There would be some songs that sounded like that, but when you really know the lyrics, you're like, this motherfucker is really sad. Like,
Yeah.
why is he jumping around about it?
Yeah.
But I mean, I also like that dynamic too, though. I think at the end of the day, I was really just looking for that dynamic with the right instruments. And I mean, I knew it all along that that's like where I'm supposed to be, is with a band. But for the sake of, the way music was going and the way that we were presenting our music and getting our music across at the time, we were just working with production stuff, because at that time, like, I was like, oh, I can't find 5 guys that can make this sound that I have in my head specifically. And I'd rather pick a beat from somebody that I'm like, oh, they kind of have that idea of the sound, work with this person, mess with the beat a little bit, and because I can't produce, mess with the beat a little bit, and kind of get it close to that sound. It was really like we were doing what we could with what we had, at the time, and I wanted to do it solo. And then you're that little thing in the back of your head's like, yeah, but you like bands.
Mhm.
Like, hey, like, you want a band, don't you? I was like, and you're like, yeah, I do. So then, okay, let's do it. But yeah, we figured it out somewhat. We're
Yeah.
just playing with it. Yeah, who knows what it'll be years from now? But I'll probably be completely contradicting myself years from now.
Well, that's part of being nice, right? You want to
That's
evolve
part
and
of being
change.
that. All these like, ooh,
Yeah.
I'm here, I'm there. But yeah, it's fun. Keeps it interesting.
So do you think part of it is you wanted to, obviously you have your roots in bands and you wanted to do that, like you said, it's kind of this lingering thing in your head even back then that you wanted to be in a band. But like you say, you kind of wanted to distance yourself from that emo rap tag that people decided to place on you as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like because it was weird too, because I would do some songs that weren't like full, they weren't like emo rap, and then I would do some songs that were emo rap.
Mm.
And like the emo rap thing was going so crazy at the time that like those are the songs that people like remembered me by,
Yeah.
and like completely forgot that I was doing full band songs at one point. There's just like, it wasn't hitting at the time, and now everybody's like, oh, a band. I'm like, yeah, we were doing that, y'all didn't pay attention back then, but okay, I'll give it to you again. So it definitely got put on me. And at the time I was for it, because I was like, like, people are listening to me, it's cool. Like, people didn't really do that back then, but now I feel like I have a decent fan base where, like, I can be more myself, and that's okay. And I think I've done a good job of kind of being a little bit all over the place, and it's like, what's he gonna do next? Like, I'm pretty sporadic with like what I'm into at the moment, what I'm not into at the moment, and I'm cool with that. And I feel like a lot of my fans are pretty cool with that. They fuck with whatever, they like music. They're just like, okay, make something that's they like emotional. They like emotion, raw, like realness and stuff. And that's all I like too. So I'm like, all right, well, let's just jam out, and whatever we get, we get.
Yeah.
Who knows? But
Yeah.
right now it's definitely band stuff.
Yeah, I think it's not only you that's done that. And I don't know if it'll be for the same reasons, but you look at someone like Nothing Nowhere, he's obviously gone more in a band
Yeah.
direction, or Sully or 93 Feet of Snow.
Sully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've all gone in like a more band direction as well. So
yeah, we were just talking about Crooks too.
They just put that one album out and it was just a classic, and then I just don't know if they're ever going to come back. But
well, I was listening back even before that, like when like Tired Eyes came out.
Oh yeah,
and
the EPs and stuff.
Yeah, the EPs. Yeah, that was my shit. I love Sully.
Yeah, so good.
Yeah.
I think you were part of that kind of modern emo sound, and you got signed to Epitaph as well, which people kind of associate as like a traditional punk label.
Yeah.
I imagine you got a bit of heat from that from the gatekeepers.
Oh, dude, that's so funny. There's like, I think like the number one comment I get all the time is like, wow, Epitaph really like sold out, or they say something like Epitaph really fuck what they say something like that. Like, I used to come here for looking for punk this and that, and now it's this. Like, they're so disappointed, and so whatever that music's turned into something other than what they want it to be.
Yeah,
But it's really funny, yeah.
I just don't get
Or it's like they'll talk about like the face tattoos, like what is this guy doing?
it.
Like
Like,
yeah,
doing what you
like,
want.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, isn't that what the whole punk thing's all about?
Only if you go by their rules, clearly. Like,
But they're real, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Do what you want, but it's in our rules.
yeah. But that's what you want, right? Like, you want to be an artist or a band, whatever you are. You either loved or you hated. You don't want to be kind of beige in the middle, and then no one talks about you.
Yeah, yeah. I tend to stir the pot, whether it's on purpose or accidentally. But we stir the pot. It's fun.
People are talking about you, so
Yeah, yeah,
living in their head rent free.
yeah.
But coming from that emo rap world, I guess that's kind of collaboration is all about that, and you collab with so many people, in all of your work, and especially on nosebleeder, you've collaborated with producers and also different artists. Have Mod Sun on there, Sophie Powers. What was it like, bringing all those people on board, and how important is collaboration to you when you're putting these songs together?
It's super cool because like with collabing, it's like who it can be and somebody that you like genuinely just fuck with and like doesn't necessarily have like the following either, and you make like it's like the song like Millionaire that I made with Kennedy XO. This guy's like I fuck with him so hard, and like that's like one of my favorite songs that I've made, and it's like whether people really know about that person or not, it's like that song's still better than like a bunch of songs that like I've heard, in big collaborations with like other artists, big names collaborating with other big names. And it's really cool because it's just like what you genuinely fuck with, who you genuinely fuck with, who you really think like is gonna add that extra thing to the song to take it to that point, because you already like your own song, you already are working on it as much as you can, and then have somebody else come in and throw their spin on it the way they would do it just makes it like two worlds, colliding. It's really sick.
Yeah.
I like it a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's sometimes like I'll work on songs with somebody and it makes me think like, damn, I should have wrote it more in that vibe, because I hear that verse and I'm like, this song would be crazier if it just like, it gets all the little things going off and having fun.
Yeah. I guess sometimes when you're kind of so focused on the song, you kind of have blinkers on sometimes, and it takes someone to come in and kind of give their perspective that kind of takes them off, and you're like, oh, I didn't even think of going in that direction or doing
yeah I can get super tunnel vision and super like, if I'm outside of these walls and I'm trying something outside of those walls that I feel like I'm messing it up, then I hear someone do something completely outside of those walls, and this is the way they do it, and I'm like, I didn't think of that. Like I didn't hear it that way. I would have never even heard it that way because I didn't even give myself the chance to try it that way.
Yeah.
Like, and you just opened up this whole other door, and like maybe that makes me go back and do some like vocals underneath it, and like we bring more of that into the song as a whole, or maybe that like spurs off something else later that I'm like, always remember that, and always like, I try something else in a different song, and then it's continuously evolving, like not the song but like just the artist. I think that's really really good with like really being in the same room with the artist too and working on the song, because at the end of the day we're all just kind of like learning and like seeing each other's like work process, and if you're not like learning through that, then it's like, then you're really just like, okay, boom, like your fans will hear it, my fans will hear it, whatever. Like you really get more out of it and like teach stuff, learn stuff, have fun.
Yeah.
Collaborating. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's important. You want to have not only someone who serves a song, but also someone you vibe with, because there's so many features out there that I hear, and it just sounds like they've just put this person on there because they want the clout of that named feature.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I definitely like to somebody that I can like hang out with. Like,
yeah.
I'll be there and like we'll talk and we'll just shoot the shit. And then it's like, oh yeah, we got a song to make.
Yeah. Is there any kind of dream collabs that you'd want to do in the future or anything like that?
I've always said Billy Billie
Irish.
Irish. Billie. I've always said Billie Eilish. Oh, damn it. I'm so bad at this because when somebody asks me, then
All these names
I'm
flood in
like,
your head.
yeah, it's like, it's all the names that make like no name at all. Like, I can't make out the name in my head, but like right now I'm really into McGee. Yeah, I don't know. I need to like start writing this down so I just have my go-to list and I'm just like, boom.
Yeah, shove on your notes on your phone, and then you can just pull it up
Yeah.
whenever. Yeah.
Oh, I would definitely love to do a song with Skrillex.
Hmm.
Like, that's just like in a world where it's like not even like my world of things, but like that would be really fun. Of course, like something with like Bring Me or like Seosin, stuff like that.
The goats.
Things, yeah, things I grew up onto, stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, one band that you collaborated with not too long ago was Within Destruction on their song "Dying World." What was it like working with them?
That one was so that one I didn't get to hang out with them, but our guitar player at the time was like, yo, like they have this song, like if you want to hop on it, and showed me the song, and I was like, well, I was like, it's a heavy song, let's do it. And it
Yeah,
was, I think we were in the middle of tour and we had some time off in Phoenix, and he was like, yo, let's cut that verse. And we had been partying and hanging out, like like the crew, the band, the touring crew had
hmm
been partying and hanging out. And I was like, all right, let me cut this real quick. And I was just fun because I think at that time I had got off tour with If It I First, and I was on tour for Lotus. So it's kind of like a change of energy, and bouncing back and forth from that is like one's more heavy singing, one's more heavy, more screaming heavy. And I'm always missing the other while I'm doing the other. Like
yeah,
I love both so much. It's just like, I miss both worlds. And so it was a cool little taste of that world while I'm on tour with Lotus.
yeah,
But yeah, the song turned out sick. So I was really stoked.
yeah. Well, I had their guitarist Howie on the podcast a few months ago, and I said
Oh
to
yeah.
him, "You missed a trick not having Little Lotus on the song Lotus on the album Lotus, like
Yeah.
Inception." Yeah,
I think I heard that. I think I heard that actually. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, the stars aligned. Could have done it, but never mind.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That'd be the super Lotus.
yeah. Mega Lotus. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, before we start wrapping up the conversation, I just want to talk to you about some of your other projects. You mentioned If I Die First. You've been in projects like Boyfriendz and stuff like that. What's kind of going on with those other projects? Is there anything happening with any of them?
So If I Die First is we are going to be releasing a song. It was an old song that we had finished and everything, and I was like, oh, I guess I at the time I didn't like what I wrote or something like that. So we were like, let's go back for rewrites at some point, and then I finally went back and did them, and then it was a song featuring Lil Tracy,
Right.
and so it was just like a super like random like song we had been working on, and I wanted it to be done right. And so we went back and we got it all, got it all right. And we decided that we're going to put it out. And then we've talked about like getting back together to like, work on some new stuff. And, Ned's been like riffing like a bunch and like writing all this stuff. And so I was like, all right, well, right now I'm in Dallas. So when I get back from Dallas, let's work on that, work on those. And so yeah, that song will come out. I'm not sure when. And then I started this new project called Hospital, actually, with
Hmm.
two of my friends, with Noah Thomas and Sachi Six, and we've been touring together a bit, playing together a bit, and that band is like just it's sick. It's out. It's like blows shit out the water. I fucking love that project. I can't wait to. We've been teasing like little things here and there, but I can't wait to formally like put it out. So yeah, keep an eye
Yeah.
out for that.
Is there a time frame as to when Hospital will put out its first song, or do you not know just yet?
I don't know yet. We don't know yet. This is definitely like our baby, where we're making sure everything is like in the right, spot, the right time. Everything's perfect. We're definitely being very patient with it. It's the most patient I feel like I've ever been on anything. Usually, I'm just like put it out, and that comes from like the old SoundCloud days where we're like take a photo, upload it to SoundCloud,
Yeah, put it out
who's
there.
got the lyrics, type out the lyrics, and who's got a camera, let's go shoot in the alley and take a video and like make that the music video. Like
Yeah,
I was so used to that for so long that yeah, like I kind of got used to that, and had trouble being very patient, but with hospital, we've been very patient and very like, make sure everything's right. So yeah.
I mean, there's something to say for, putting out content for people to listen to and check out and stuff. But sometimes, timing is important. Like you want to make sure it gets the attention it deserves and the focus it deserves as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Especially if you put so much work into it,
Yeah, this one we have these huge powwows sitting down and deep diving into like what we're trying to do with each song. Each song is just so different. There's so many different areas, like so many different vibes that we hit. We're kind of looking at it like movie scoring, like different scenes to each song and different places and different, scenarios. So it's super cinematic. But yeah, soon. Soon. That's all I can say. Soon.
Well, it's just kind of crazy to me that you've got, all these different projects that are all different sounds and styles. Like, how do you even go about when you start putting like writing stuff? Like, how do you kind of know like this is more Lotus focused? This seems more something I could say for If I Die First. Is it more when you're with the other people in the project? That's when it kind of comes out, or do you kind of sit on stuff and kind of use it where it works?
It's definitely it's the people involved
right
make me feel like there's a familiar feeling with like I feel like I get into like If I Die First mode as soon as I'm with like Ned and all the boys. Like I'm like oh, we're in If I Die First mode, let's go, like and it just comes out naturally. Same thing with Hospital. Like for Lotus stuff, like I feel like if I'm at home and I'm by myself in general, like I can be writing something and I'm like, all right, this is probably like a Lotus idea. And then like if it's not a Lotus idea, like if I end up going and taking to the studio and we try to build it out and I hear it and I'm like, no, this doesn't sound like a Lotus song. Like I'll find a home for it, and if it's not any of those places, then it's just like a song, and I'm still just writing. But if it's something that starts off like me by myself, it's usually like I'm thinking like, okay, Lotus or whatever. And if it's not, then like see what guys want to do with it. And if it doesn't work there, then it doesn't work there. Yeah. But I think I just try to write so much that like I'm not really losing anything. It's not so like, oh, I have this one song and I have to use it because I'm not going to be able to write another song for a long time. Just always writing. But yeah, it's definitely like getting in those zones, in those those headspaces with those people. Yeah.
Do you ever get much like writer's block just because how much you're creating all the time? Just kind of flow up through you when you're just in those moments?
I think I might get writer's block in one area and then I might have to switch to just write. Like if I'm trying to like, I haven't had too bad of writer's block recently. Like if I do, it's because I'm just trying one area too much and it's just like not hitting, or I'm just like having a bad day and like I just got to try again a different day. But I haven't had, I don't want to knock on wood, but I don't think I've had it for a while. I think I'm just having fun. I think if you're just having fun, like there's no pressure. Yeah. There's no like, I've been taking my time, having fun, and just writing whatever comes to mind.
Yeah. If it works for you, man, it works. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what else have you got planned for 2024? Obviously, deluxe album, and then you say there's working on some other projects. Like what else is planned for 2024 so far?
Hospital releases, If I Die First releases, some tour. I'm trying to tour as much as possible. I want to do I just want to tour as much as possible. Right now, we're like looking at so many different options right now. I honestly like with the Lotus stuff, like I've already started writing this new album, so I'm just trying to like write another album and just get it out, like just keep it coming. I want to start doing more frequent Lotus releases. But yeah, really it's just I want to go harder than I did on any of these other past releases. But that and I'm gonna grow up a little bit, get a house or something, buy a house. Yeah. Probably settle down a little bit. And,
real life shit. Yeah.
Yeah, some real life shit. Yeah, I'm gonna get a house.
I'm trying to do that as well, but it's not easy.
Yeah. I think I wasted a lot of time partying it up and acting a fool. Now I'm like, like you're old. Let's do it. Like, this is what you do.
Yeah. Well, you've made memories, and there's that saying of you can't always make memories, but you can always make money. So I guess there's
True.
something to say to that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Thanks very much for your time. I really appreciate it. Hopefully I'll catch you next time you pop over in the UK. Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks again.
Hopefully that's soon.
Yeah. Fingers crossed, man. Yeah. Before I let you go and enjoy the rest of your day, any final words, anything you want to say or plug? The floor's yours.
Stream Nosebleeder Deluxe, and I hope you guys like it. And if you do like the Lil Uzi cover, send it to him. See what he says. If it's smash or pass.
Hopefully we can get a collab going.
That'd be cool. Then I could get a house.
Yeah, there we go. If that's not incentive, then I don't know what is.
Yeah, for real.
And you can have your own little studio in your house, and then that means more LiL Lotus music. Everyone wins.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Thanks. Well, thanks for having me.
Take care, dude.
Right, see you
later.
See you.
Bye. And that is it. Thank you so much for listening. Again, if you enjoyed this or any other episode of the podcast, then please leave a rating and review wherever you're listening to this. If you want to support the podcast further, you can go and give it a follow on social media, pick up something from the merch store, or subscribe to the Patreon to get early access to episodes. All of the links can be found at itsnotaphase.co.uk. That's itsnotaphase.co.uk. Thanks again, hopefully catch you on the next one, and remember, it's not a phase, it's a lifestyle.